Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Cellar TV. Today we're going to be trying a really quite interesting wine, and it's from Channing Daughters. Now anyone that knows our channel or has seen any of the other videos before probably knows that I'm a bit of a nut for Channing Daughters Winery. And not just Channing Daughters Winery, I mean, well, all interesting wines, let's be honest. But most importantly, wines from New York State. Now, I do have some slight bias here because of the fact that I am a bit of a New York wine specialist, and I'm, well, specifically, I'm a New York wine importer as well into New Zealand, which is very interesting and certainly not an easy job. But it is fun, all the rest, because I get to try and taste and sell fantastic wines like this particular one. Now, we have done quite a few Channing Daughters wines on this particular channel so far, and no doubt we will continue to do so because their wines are utterly fantastic. And not just that, but also Chris Tracy, the winemaker there and co-owner, he makes a raft of wines, so many wines, it is utterly ridiculous. I don't know, it must be about 50 SKUs or something like that, which 50 different wines. He makes a few fortified wines, he makes 6 different vermouths, he makes, I don't know, 8 or so different pet nat sparkling wines, he makes, I think 5, 6, perhaps more rosés, a raft of white wines, and a whole plethora of orange and also red wines as well. So, I mean, if you can't find anything in the Channing Daughters stable that you like, then you're sort of, I don't know, I worry for you, because he really does have everything from Sauvignon to Chardonnay to utterly fantastic reds and everything in between. Literally everything in between. Anywho, so this is one of his, it's a white wine, but actually it has spent quite a bit of time on skins. Not a dramatic amount by any means, but it spent, I think it was about 14 days or so on skins, perhaps slightly less in this particular vintage. But however, the actual grapes that were used here, so, oh, well anyway, so this is a little close-up of the label there for you. So it is the Sylvanus, which is the name of not only this particular wine, but also the vineyard where these grapes for this particular wine are actually grown. So the blend of this wine, and this is the 2013 vintage, I'd like to add, is 60% Muscat, 30% Pinot Grigio, and 10% Pinot Bianco. Now, anyone that has ever seen Muscat grapes in the actual flesh, they are quite coloured and very, very sort of, well, slightly pinkish, but they've got a deep colour to them. So when you do actually leave the white wine juice, as it were, on its skins for quite some time, like a week or so, like this is spent, then you do get quite a bit of colour. Now, it's quite interesting, because I only picked up this wine again for the first time in a few months, quite recently, and I thought this is why I decided to do this video, because it just shows you, and I wish I'd taken a photo when I first sort of got this, or this first arrived in New Zealand last year sometime. It was slightly orange, but not as deep as this, and so with age of a few months even, but closer to a year I suppose now, it has definitely deepened in colour, and you can't really see because the glass is fogging up slightly because of the fact it's so cold, but it is this beautiful sort of copper colour now, and it's utterly delicious. And don't worry, that doesn't mean it's sort of oxidized and gone terribly wrong. It is literally just the colour of the phenolics and all the rest, which is sort of dropping out, which means that the colour is actually becoming more rich, and that lovely sort of orangey hue is coming through. Anywho, so it is Muscat predominant. Now, anyone that is familiar with the Muscat grape varietal, or wines made from Muscat, are probably familiar with things like Moscato, Moscato d'Asti, which is a sweet sparkling wine, and a few Muscat de Beaume de Venise, and other things like this, which are sweet Muscat wines, both dry, well, not dry, but both still and also fortified as well. So that's quite interesting to then have a dry Muscat wine, and also one that has been, well, spent time on its skins and making a bit more of an amber or an orange wine. Anyway, so this is quite interesting. So let's give it a bit of a sniff. It's delectable on the nose. It's got these really, really lush and rich orange sort of juice, orange pith, a little bit of tangerine there, a little bit of that sort of blood orange sort of in there as well, and you're getting these lovely sort of apricot and sort of spicy pear notes, which I suppose, of course, is then coming from not just the skins of the Muscat, but also the Pinot Grigio. So those of you that are familiar with a lot of Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, you can get a little bit of that spiciness, that pear, a little bit of that cardamom flavour coming through if it's particularly ripe, and this obviously is. So it's delicious. So yeah, just a whole bunch of A whole bunch of beautiful citrus fruits here, sort of dried citrus fruits as well, sort of candied orange, a bit of candied lemon or here on the nose as well. So it's quite interesting because it sort of smells like if a sweet wine and a dry white Pinot Grigio was to sort of come together. That's very much what this nose would smell like. Anyway, let's give it a little taste. So it's dry, very dry actually. Got quite a bit of acidity here. I'd say it's sort of medium to medium plus. A lot more acidity than you would normally expect from a straight dry Muscat, which do exist. There are a few dry Muscats coming out of regions like, well, California. I can think of a couple from California, but also from, most importantly, from Alsace out there. So they do tend to make some dry Muscats up there. But this one has got a little bit more complexity to it again. It is a little bit more nutty. There's this lovely sort of toasted sesame seed flavour here on the palate, which I'm just absolutely loving. A little bit of sort of chopped up almonds and all the rest, but then that's all sort of just mellowing in this lovely sort of dried apricot and beautiful. That orange flavour is just coming through in bounds and leaps and bounds on the palate, which is just, it's delicious. So there is a little bit of tannin here, but if anyone that is sort of familiar with orange wines in particular, they can get quite tannic. This isn't like that at all. It's just a touch, but really it just adds a little bit more volume to it, a little bit more body to the actual palate weight here. Nothing really too over the top, which is quite nice. And so it is still very, very refreshing because of the fact that it's got that medium to high acid there. So it's it's delicious, really. And I have to say, I had it the other night with sort of crumbed chicken strips, and that was delicious. And I actually think that was possibly one of the best matches I've ever had with a food and wine pairing. It was utterly delicious. So sort of fried chicken when I baked the chicken, but you know, crispy chicken, and beans and carrots, I think, or something like this on the side. It was delicious, utterly delicious. Yes. Anyway, so this has been the Channing Daughters Sylvanus, which is their white wine, which has been fermented on skins, Muscat predominant, and it's utterly delicious. We don't have many bottles left of the 2013 vintage. I think there's probably only about half a case, about 6 bottles or so left, perhaps a little bit more. No doubt I'm probably going to drink a couple myself, so get in quick. I think we've got it online for about $50 now, so if you'd like it, get some. All the information is there below. If you'd like to see a few more videos of the Channing Daughters wines, just search up on our channel. There are oodles of them, and no doubt so many more to come, which are absolutely fantastic. And so yes, I hope you've liked our video. Please don't forget to like and comment away. Let us know what you thought of the video, if you've tried the wine before, and of course if you have liked the video, please do subscribe. That is much appreciated. Right, I'm Connal Finlay. This has been Cellar TV. Cheers.